So before we get started, let's look at the 10 tools that you're going to need for draping. Let's start with dress forms. We get the most questions about these things. So let's get real. You want to be sure your form has a padded linen surface so you can slide pins into it. It needs to have collapsible shoulders so you can dress it easily. And you want to be able to adjust the height. Now some have a wire cage on the bottom so you can judge the length of a skirt. Newer ones have little legs on there so you can drape pants if you wish. These professional dress forms cost about $500, but they're worth it. Don't waste your time on those rickety adjustable plastic forms, you know, the dials in the middle. You just are not going to get good results. And like we say, do it once, do it right. By the way, we have a class to show you how to alter a dress form to make it more your shape. But first of all, you should start off by measuring your smallest part of your body, which is typically your bust, and that way you can choose the proper size. We have more instructions about that on our website. I've been talking now about the traditional half body forms. That's what most people choose, but they also have available full body forms. So if you do a lot of draping of pants, that's the one you're going to want to choose. It's the same features as a half body form. It just has full length legs. You can also get arms to go with them if you feel like you're going to be doing a lot of shirts. In that case, you're going to be spending about $750 for the full body forms. Now let's turn to the rest of the tools. When it comes to pins, be sure to get the 1-inch stainless steel, long, slim, and sharp to slide right into your padded dress form. Make sure they have tiny heads so they don't distort your drape. And if you have tender fingers, just grab a thimble for pushing those pins. When it comes to a pin cushion, I like to use one that I can put on my wrist for convenience. You're going to want scissors, a pair for cutting your fabric, another pair for cutting paper. You're going to be doing a lot of measuring, so let's get a tape measure. The dressmaker's tape measure, you know, 5/8 inch wide, 60 inches long, is just perfect. Let's get a couple of pencils. You're going to be marking your drape, so making some lines on there. Never use a pen. An ink pen will bleed through and stain your dress form. Nice soft #2 lead pencils are going to work for you. Now we're going to need a package of tracing paper. You're going to be truing up your drape. That is, making sure the seams that join together are the same length and shape. We like using the waxed tracing paper. It's not dusty, so it's a lot easier to use. But if you don't have access to it, you can't get it, then go ahead with the regular wax-free tracing paper. Let's get ourselves a tracing wheel. Make sure you have one that has a stable joint, not a spot weld. You want to trace straight lines, not wobbly lines. Now let's move on to the big guns. You want to make sure your muslin starts as a perfect on-grain right angle. So let's get a right angle. This is called an L square, also known as a builder square or carpenter square. You're going to need to put style lines on your dress form, so let's get some thin braid or twill tape. You're going to be putting it at the bust, the princess, the low hip, as well as the cross back, and sometimes on the shoulder seam. Those are your guide marks for laying out your drape and knowing which direction you're going. Now some folks use a sticky tape called chart pack. It's used in engineering. We don't. We have found out that after a while it makes your dress form sticky and it starts collecting all sorts of gunk. You'll also want to be sure to use some good quality muslin to make your drapes. We carry Venus muslin. That's what we use. It's tightly woven, 100% cotton that stays true to grain. That way you can trust your creations. Then you'll have confidence that they will keep their proper shape and won't stretch out or bag. When you rip it, and you will be nipping and ripping, you'll know that it comes off the straight of grain at a 90-degree angle on the cross. When you're going to true up your garments, you're going to be needing your pattern rulers, your 2x18 and your curves, your 4 curves. If you want to know more about those, let's turn to our pattern tools video and we can give you the inside scoop on them. You're going to need a steam iron too. That's what you're going to be using to what we call block your muslin to make sure it's at that perfect 90-degree angle. And get yourself a nice large press mat. This is a wool and muslin covered piece of wood. If you want to know more about how to make one for yourself, you can go to our Instagram channel. We have the directions there. Now don't worry if you have missed any of these tools. We have the draping supply list as a link on all of our class websites at pfi.edu. And we sell the tools separately or in a kit at our supply store, which is pfisewing.com. In our next video, I'll show you how to add guidelines to your dress form, or as the French would say, ribbon the dummy. So let's get started draping. Thanks for watching.